back to the channel! It's Mama A back on cam. Finally, nakapag-vlog din ako after what? Like 3 weeks? 3 weeks pa yata yung last upload ko. That was yung UN Day ni Andrea. And sobrang hectic ng schedule. Kaliwat kanan yung responsibilities ko as a mom. So, I'm really sorry guys kung hindi ako masyadong consistent sa aking pag-upload dito sa YouTube. But anyway, if you're here, thank you so much for watching this video. Today, I think it's the best time na i-share ko sa inyo yung experience ko dun sa pregnancy ko. Naglalag ako. Dun sa pregnancy ko from first to third trimester. Sobrang daming kaganapan at mga nangyari. And I'm really excited to share with you kung ano-ano ito yung mga ito. Kasi baka meron sa inyo dyan na kakaalam lang na pregnant sila and want to know kung ano yung mga expect nila from their first to third trimester. So, I hope this video would help you, and without further ado, let's begin! So, first trimester, as soon as nalaman namin na buntis ako, the first thing we did was we went to an OB, of course. Kasi syempre, ayaw naman natin manghula-hula na okay lang, ganito, ganyan, di ba? So, we have to make sure na talagang merong nabuo, and yung nabuo is healthy in your uterus, di ba? So, I think kasi meron kasi mga conditions na hindi sila nakakaabot dun sa uterus mo, which is also a cause of sometimes yung what do you call this, miscarriage and things like that. So it's very important na once na nalaman nyo na buntis kayo, go to your OB right away. So sa amin, sa case namin, wala, since medyo biglaan ng lahat, hindi naman siya sa unplanned yung pregnancy, but it's more of like hindi lang namin in-expect na ganito kabilis. And so hindi kami prepared, like kaninong OB kami lalapit, anong hospital yung pupuntahan namin, and so on. So, we opted for the one na yung sobrang mas malapit sa amin, sobrang accessible sa amin. So, at first, we went to the medical city, yung clinic nila dito, malapit sa amin. And then, ang unang nangyari was, of course, nirecommend na mag-transvaginal ultrasound kami. So, that's to find out kung yung nabuo ba is there and kung healthy ba siya. And so, it turned out naman na okay. Tapos, after nung transvaginal ultrasound, nag-prescribe siya ng folic. Yan. So, yung folic na prescribe sa akin is called Quattrofol. But then again, please don't take the vitamins that I'm going to discuss with you kung hindi prescribed ng doctor nyo or ng OB nyo. Okay? Just for your baby safety. So, after ng folic, maybe it took me a month after para magkaroon ng second check-up. So, during that 1 month, pinag-usapan na namin ni Daddy, okay, ano ba? Medical city ba tayo or hanap pa tayo mga hospital or anything like that. Kasi sabi ko sa kanya, ayoko sana ng palipat-lipat kami ng doctor or palipat-lipat kami ng OB or hospital. Yan. So, sabi ko, okay na yung first or initial check-up natin is with someone. Okay? Pero gusto ko sana yung second and moving on is dun sa OB na talagang magkikater sa amin up until lumabas si baby. So, napag-usapan namin na we'll go with the Queen's Clinic. So, if you're not aware, Queen's Clinic is not a hospital. They're a birthing center. Very affordable. They're handled by doctors, not midwives. And para sa akin, kasi mas comfortable sa birthing center compared to hospitals. Hindi naman sa pag-aano, but like, it's just my preference. Again, depende sa inyo kung saan kayo mas comfortable. Para sa akin kasi mas comfortable ako sa birthing center kasi una, pwede kasama yung husband inside the delivery room without any extra cost. So, yung package mo, yun lang talaga yun. And by the way, if kung gusto nyo malaman kung magkano yung package na meron sila, I'll share it with you. Just comment down below. And I think it was meant to be kasi yung doctor doon ka-birthday ko. Yung doctors nila, sobrang babait. and yung nurses and staff nila is sobrang accommodating, very welcoming. Never ako naka-experience dun na medyo off yung mood ng staff nila. Normally, nakasmile sila lagi, and then talaga mabait sila. So, I would recommend the Queen's Clinic if you haven't tried that yet, or if you're still looking for a clinic or a birthing center that will cater your pregnancy and maternity needs. Drop ko na lang sa description yung contact info nila. Second check-up. So, nagpunta kami ng Queens. And then, doctor there, dinagdagan niya yung vitamins ko. So, apart from the folic, binigyan niya ako ng multivitamins, ng vitamin C, and calcium. All in all, 4 na yung tinitake ko na vitamins at that time. And then, other than the vitamins or the additional vitamins, nagkaroon din ako ng additional laboratories na kailangan gawin. First is the pap smear. So, kung hindi pa kayo nakapagpa-pap smear, well, it's a choice, I think. Pero kasi during that time, gusto namin ma-make sure na lahat is okay. Since yung last pregnancy ko was like 11 years ago. So, gusto ko ma-make sure that everything that goes around this or my current pregnancy is well and, you know, no complications at all. So, talagang sinunod lang namin lahat ng recommendation ng doctor namin. And then, so, after the pap smear, nagkaroon ng initial CBC. So, check yung blood nyo. If you don't know what your blood type is, that's also the perfect time for you to know kung ano yung blood type nyo. Urinalysis. Nag-urinalysis din ako. And this is very important, guys, ha? Kasi may effect pala ang UTI during pregnancy. So, if may UTI kayo and buntis kayo, it has to be acknowledged. It has to be treated right away para hindi maapektuhan si baby. Okay? So, on my urinalysis so far, okay naman siya. Wala naman ako UTI. FBS. So, FBS is a fasting blood sugar. I think that's what it's called. Pero anyway, ang check lang dito is kung mataas ang sugar level ninyo. Ayun, later, pag-uusapan natin. HIV testing. And then after that one is yung syphilis infection check, hepatitis B check, and that's it. Yun. So, yun yung mga laboratories na nirecommend ng aking doctor during the second checkup. Okay? So, what happened during this laboratory was, nung FBS, nalaman at nakita na ang taas ng blood sugar ko. So, yung doctor, yung OB, she wants to make sure na eto na talaga to, mataas talaga yung blood sugar ko. Or baka kasi false lang. So, pina-retake niya sa akin yung FBS, which is, iba yung tawag sa kanya, OGTT, 75 grams OGTT, Oral Glucose Tolerance Test. Yun yung tawag. So, what happens here is, so first kukuhanan ka ng dugo. And then, may ipapainom sa'yo na glucose juice. And then, after an hour, take ulit ng dugo. And then, after an hour, another blood sample will be taken. So, mga 3 times yun. 3 times kayo kukuha na ng dugo. And, that is to confirm kung talagang mataas yung blood sugar level ninyo. Or para makita yung pinaka-peak ng blood sugar level ninyo. And unfortunately, I got GDM. Para sa inyo na hindi alam kung ano ang GDM, that is gestational diabetes. It's a kind of diabetes na nakukuha nyo during pregnancy. Normally, when you're pregnant, okay, yung insulin natin is nagsistop, well, nagle-lessen ng production para magbigay way dun sa mga nutrients na ini-intake natin para mapunta siya kay baby. Sa mga may GDM, ang nangyayari kasi is hindi nakakapag-produce ng enough insulin for the mom too. And so, kaya tumataas yung blood sugar level. And so, maraming effects ang pwedeng mangyari sa baby. kapag may GDM ka. But again, with the OB's help, with proper, care, and medication, for sure. And of course, control sa food, may iwasan naman yung mga problema na yun. I think one of the problems na pwedeng ma-encounter ng tao may GDM is preeclampsia. This was just parang discussed to me briefly by my OB. So preeclampsia, tapos meron din yung parang sobrang lumalaki yung baby, and which might cause also issues for the baby, and at the same time which may cause you to deliver the baby through CS instead of normal natin. So nung nalaman na meron akong GDM, I had to control my food intake. And this is during the first trimester. Para sa inyo na mga nagbuntis na before, I'm sure you can relate to this. Sobrang hirap. Kasi first trimester is the time where you crave a lot of foods, diba? Diyan lumalabas yung mga cravings nyo sa mga matatamis, sa fruits, kung ano-anong combination of food, the drinks, and everything. And so, ang hirap talaga. Pero, I'm thankful, in a way. Medyo how can I say this? Like 50-50. Kasi, during my first time, suka ako na suka. So, because of that behavior, medyo na-control niya yung food intake ko on my first time. Kasi, syempre, since suka ko na suka, nawawalan na ako ng gana na kumain ng kung ano-ano. And I would just opt for the foods that will not make me vomit. So, talagang limited yung mga kinakain ko on my first trimester. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, I have tried eating pineapples a lot on my first trimester. Kahit na mataas siya sa sugar, pero yun lang kasi yung fruit na hindi ako nasusuka. And at the same time, yun lang din yung fruit na nakakapagpatigil nung suka moments ko. And then other than that one, oatmeal, wheat bread, less of the savory, salty foods, kimchi, a lot of kimchi. So I think yun yung mga naalala ko na tinitake ko during my first time. Salad, kani salad. Yan, yung mga vegetables, rich in fiber and all that. So, yun yung mga tinitake ko during my first trimester. So, after that one, syempre, binigyan ako ng OB ng target ng sugar level ko. I have to be max on 140 mgdl. Bumili kami ng glucose monitoring device. So, everyday ako nagtutusok. And para sa inyo na hindi marunong mag-monitor ng blood sugar nyo through this device, pala siya? 4 times a day. So, yung pagkagising without any water, liquid, or any food intake, okay? And then after 2 hours after breakfast, 2 hours after lunch, and 2 hours after dinner. So, 4 times, mag-check kayo ng blood count, ng blood sugar level ninyo. And then, so nag-track ako nito for like 2 weeks, I think. 2-3 weeks. And then, pinakita ko sa doctor on my next visit. So, sa next visit ko, ang nangyari was, nagkaroon ng another ultrasound. Okay? So, the second ultrasound that I had is to check kung okay ba yung water, yung weight, the usual, yung size and everything. So, lahat naman is okay. And thank God. Nagkaroon ako ng konting issues dun sa tinak ko na sugar level ko. Kasi meron yatang twice doon at a time na sobrang taas ng blood sugar level ko. So, yun yung medyo nagkaroon ng concern si Doc kasi nahihirapan akong i-maintain siya na mababa. So, ayan, continuous lang din yung monitoring. And then the next time I visited the OB was on my second trimester na. So, sa second trimester, nagkaroon ako ng another ultrasound. It's a pelvic ultrasound this time. And this is to check the gender. Tapos, well, hindi kasi ako fan ng mga gender reveal and stuff. I don't think it matters that much, yung mga celebration. So, we didn't have a gender reveal. Siguro yung gender reveal is just between me and hubby. Between me and daddy na lang. Yun. So, super happy naman kami nung nalaman namin na it's a boy. Because, meron na rin kaming feeling, ako especially, meron na talaga akong feeling na parang lalaki to. Di ko nararamdamang babae yung aking dinadala. Pero, yan, happy kami, super happy kami that it's a boy. So, nung nalaman namin yung kanyang gender, after a few weeks, I think after a couple of weeks, bumalik ulit kami sa OB. Nagkaroon naman kami ng congenital anomaly scan. So, congenital anomaly scan is i-check kung kompleto ba yung fingers niya, yung feet niya, kung okay ba yung mga organs niya, are they working and functioning properly, yung size, yung water, is it enough, yung mga ganon. So, during the congenital anomaly scan, nakita naman nila lahat except for the heart. Ang nangyari kasi doon is, natakpan ng spine ni baby yung heart niya. I think dahil doon sa position niya. So, nahirapan yung doctor na makita yung heart ni baby kung talagang, kung kompleto ba yung chambers, kung nagpa-function ba lahat ng chambers ng heart niya. So, we have to go back and do that part again. Hindi na yung entire congenital anomaly scan, pero yung part lang na just checking the heart and the chambers and stuff. So, umuli kami nun. And then, nagkaroon din ako ng flu vaccine at that time. Flu vaccine is very important on the second trimester kasi prone tayo sa sakit. Like, sobrang bilis natin dapuan ng sakit. And this is something na hindi natin gugustuhin, yung magkasakit tayo while we're pregnant. Kasi nakaka-apekto rin yun sa development ni baby. So, apart from the flu vaccine, nagkaroon ako ng anti-tetano vaccine. Dalawa yun eh. Pero hindi nyo siya i-take ng sabay. Again, just ask your OB when's the best time to take those vaccines. And I think ipaprescribe naman din nila sa inyo yun or i-recommend din nila sa inyo yun when you visit them. So, ayun. And then, nagkaroon kami ng konting glimpse ng 4D ultrasound ni baby. Ano lang yon, hindi siya like totally 4D ultrasound, pero ano lang siya, pasilip lang ng doctor sa amin. Oh, gusto niya makita yung mukha ni baby. Eto siya, o ganyan. So, mabilisan lang siya. Kaya lang, ang bad trip dun kasi tinakpan ni baby yung mukha niya. So, hindi namin nakita yung, yung entire face niya, or hindi namin talaga like natutukan yung mukha niya. So, it was shown a little bit at first, and then biglang nagtago na siya ng ganon. Ayaw na niya magpakita. So, ang plano namin ni Daddy is magpapa-4D ultrasound kami soon. Pero, yun, it's not a priority at the moment kasi parang mas maganda rin yung feeling na ma-shock ka na lang paglabas mo kung ano itsura ni challenges during the second trimester. I'd say, first half ng second trimester, nandun pa rin yung pagsusuka, yung pagkahilo. But the latter half, medyo mas madali na kasi unti-unti nang nababawasan yung pagsusuka ko at that time. So, unti-unti rin nag-gain yung, appetite ko. Kasi, syempre, di na ako nakakaramdam ng naduduwal. So, parang nagkakaroon na ako ng urge na, parang gusto ko na kumain ng marami. Gusto ko nito, gusto ko niyan, ganyan. So, yun. So, I would say medyo mas comfortable na ang second trimester compared to the first trimester for me. And then we hopped to third trimester just a few weeks ago. Ngayong third trimester, I would say lahat ng pagsusuka is wala na. And then, hindi na rin ako masyadong hirap sa food. Kasi, I mean, like dun sa pagpili ng food na kakainin. Kasi, yun nga, hindi na ako nagsusuka. So, I can eat whatever. Siguro ang pinaka-challenge na lang, para kasing ngayong third trimester, parang bumabawi yung katawan ko dun sa mga times na hindi ako makakain ng gusto ko. So, these past few days, dun ako nahihirapan mag-control dun sa mga foods na bawal sa akin. Like rice, rice, noodles, of course sweets, bawal sa akin yun. Pero time by time, I would say, medyo tumitigil-tigil pa rin naman ako ng mga matatamis. Kasi, syempre, ang hirap din naman, di ba? Madali lang sabihin nun, kaya mo yan, tigilan mo yan para sa baby mo. Madali lang naman sabihin na ganun. Pero like, when you're pregnant and then talaga nagkikrave ka na, like, hirap talaga, guys. I'm telling you, sobra. Minsan, umabot ako sa point na naiiyak ako kasi gusto ko kumain ng something. Pero alam ko sa sarili kong bawal. Pinipilit kong pigilan yung sarili ko na hindi bawal sa yan. Bawal kay baby yan. Maawa ka sa baby mo Ganun. Minsan yun yung ginagawa ko sa utak ko para para matigilan ko siya. Pero minsan naiiyak ako kasi gusto ko talaga. Alam mo yung ganun. So anyway, yun yung mga challenge ko now that I'm on my third trimester. And then apart from that one, ang hirap matulog. Bakit? Kasi si baby, ang likot niya. Sobra. Well, of course, masaya ako kasi malikot siya. And that's a very nice sign na healthy si baby. At wala akong dapat ikabahala about him. Pero, yun nga, kapag pagod ka, gusto mo matulog, minsan magugulat ka ng gano'n kasi sisipa siya ng sobrang lakas, gano'n. Or, worse, is kapag nasipa niya yung bladder mo at bigla kang mapaihi somewhere. Guilty ako dito, guys. And, well, hindi ako mahihiya sabihin sa inyo na minsan naglilig talaga kasi, ganun pagka sumisipa si baby, bigla na lang lalabas ng pusa yung wiwi ko. Kaya, hindi ko siya mapigilan. But anyway, makaka-relate kayo dito pagka nandun na kayo sa third trimester, guys. Pero, ayun nga, yun yung mga na-experience ko ngayon. And then, other than that one, si daddy nagfi-fitness na din. So, of course, parang nire-ready niya rin yung kanyang body and soul sa paglabas ni baby. Kasi I'm sure after kong mga anak, hindi ko naman magagawa lahat agad-agad. So, most likely si daddy ang mag-take over ng mga ginagawa ko, the usual. And, of course, sa pag-alaga kay baby. So, nag-fitness siya ngayon. And dahil nag-fitness siya ngayon, ang tulog namin, well, pag natutulog siya, ang lakas ng hilik niya. Kaya, ang hirap din talaga matulog. So, bukod dun sa likod ni baby, yung lakas ng hilik ni daddy, yun. Dun din, isa rin yun sa mga dahil ko bakit ang hirap matulog. Overall, wala naman na. Meron akong susunod na check-up. And then, for my next check-up, siguro, there will be another ultrasound. And this time is to make sure lang na hindi lumalaki ng grabe si baby. Nasa tamang weight and nasa tamang, laki lang siya para ma-normal delivery ko siya. And then yung water also, kailangan din ma-check kung okay yung, or enough yung water for the delivery. But other than that one, I think yun na lang naman yung mga factors na kailangan i-check yung OB on my third trimester. So, those are my experiences from the first to the third trimester. I hope that everything that I shared with you, based on my experiences from first to third trimester, would help you. Kung meron kayong mga questions or kung meron kayong mga worries, especially those moms na pregnant ngayon, please don't forget to comment below. I'll be more than happy to share some thoughts with you. Ayun lang, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Libre lang naman po yun. Please support my channel and I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you enjoy talking with me, and I hope that you learned a lot from my experience. Yun lang naman yung main point ng vlog na to. I want to share my experience para dun sa mga taong i-experience or may experience pa lang nila yung na-experience ko na. So, ayun. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, and I will see you again on the next one. Bye!